day trading yet.
Hey, Scott. Pretty bad, actually. No, just the market in general. No, it's actually, I'm okay. Jamie, how are you?
Oh, it's been an interesting day, to say the least, as everybody out there is already aware of. But boy, quite the day.
Yeah, especially after yesterday, and I definitely have some thoughts on that, and we'll dive into that in just a moment. Thanks everybody for joining us today. This is the Trading Studio. My name's Andy, and that's Jamie and Scott. And let's dive in to the action. Before we do, let's go over the disclaimer here. We are a content publisher here at Trade Ideas. We're not trying to sell you anything except maybe some software, but no financial instruments. That's not our job. So nothing that you see or hear today should be construed as investment advice. You want to look for a stockbroker or a registered advisor if you're looking for that type of advice. All right. Hi, Mike C. How are you? All right. Let's talk about the agenda today. The market recap, one word, just nasty. Okay. Some horrible action last several days. And there's going to be some comparisons here of what we may have to look forward to looking at this kind of action. So I'll dive into that when I get to the market recap. Jamie will take the Holly and take a look at it. Actually, it fared okay in conservative mode today, considering what she was dealt. And then I know I've been talking about this Trader's Eye the last two webinars. Well, I'm going to talk about it again. And the reason I am is because I did a presentation for our dev department here recently, and it was really focused on this concept. And we're going to go over the trades this week, which all in all, considering the market, I think did very well. And then we're going to focus on sector strength. We're really going to focus on sector strength today. That's something that I pretty much did for 17 years, made a living in the market trading basically sector strength and of course, sector weakness if you're looking for shorts. I think it's a really simple concept that it's easy to follow by having a sector watch list that you keep an eye on. And basically, we'll talk about that more when we get to it. But I think more traders would focus on that. It could lead them into the right trades. All right, before we move on, let's talk about the 5-star support, education, and training here at Trade Ideas. You can see along the left side there a list of different venues that we have. The top one at the very Barry's trading room, guys. This is free for everybody. If you're new to Trade Ideas and you did not know that, you do not have to have a subscription. You can still get into that trading room. We think most people that do come in there end up getting a subscription because they can see how they can use the software and how Barry uses it to profit in the marketplace. And then twice a week, we have 2 webinars, this office hours and Q&A demo. We offer 1 week, and then the following week, we kind of alternate. We have the trade of the week, and then we have Trading Studio. And then this one on the bottom here, the support webinar, we want to draw your attention to that if you are looking for help with the software. Guys, it's a great place to go. It's our daily support sessions that we have every day at 12 Eastern time. This is Monday through Friday. Just go to trade-ideas.com/live. If you're in the trading room, we'll just basically come in and take it over from Barry for an hour. So be sure to get in that, guys. This is the best place if you need a visual on showing you how to do something with the software. Best place to come. And in case you're not aware, guys, stock racing, I use it every day, and it's very helpful. If you haven't, taken a look at some of these stock races that we have in our channel bar, or if you just want to create your one, I have one that I use every morning, change from the open. It just kind of shows me what stocks right from the get-go are coming out of the gates strong from the open, not the ones gapping up. I don't care about the gaps. I want to know what stocks are doing from the open, because that's where a lot of the opportunity comes. All right, we'll save these other ones for Scott on the way out, and let's pull up the good old SPY index and take a look at this action, guys. I mean, when you see stuff like this, green bar followed by a big red bar, green bar followed by a big red bar, and another green bar followed by a red bar. This one right here was this 2-day. Basically, you had almost a 3% up move. I think it was 2.99 in the SPY yesterday, and gave it all back. That's only happened several times in like the last 10 years. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know the last time it happened, okay, was in March 2020. And I'm going to take you back there so we can get a look. And remember what happened in March. Remember the ugliness of March. And bear with me, I'm just going to have to zoom back like this, and we will find March. Hope I don't go past it. There it is. And even though there were more gaps in this, because remember this was the pandemic month, okay, but you had a lot of days like this were up and then down, up right here. This is one that was probably up 3% and then down, gave it all back. So a lot of action like that, Mark. I think it happened 3 times is what I read. Maybe this day. No, that wouldn't have been an up day. But anyway, when you start seeing this kind of action, guys, it's it can be indicative of a bottom, but and more than likely there's some more volatility to come, because going back to what we're seeing here in the market, I mean, this is wiping out a lot of dip buyers. I mean, and how many times you come in and thinking you bought the bottom, only reverse, bought the bottom only to reverse. That kind of wears on you after a while. I know my own swing trading that I do, and I do quite a bit of it. Like at the close of the day, it was the last thing on my mind is to come in here and try to pick something off the bottom. So, and trust me that it's the same thing happens. Remember, these charts, these candles that you see are just basically human emotions that are taking effect. And over the last 3 weeks here, it's been nothing but ugliness. Okay, you can say, well, we're really not going anywhere. If you look back and going back over here in the SPY, sorry about that, we're still kind of where we were back at the lows around March, and that's true. We're not going anywhere, but you have to remember how long these dip buyers have been conditioned, basically over the last 13 or 14 years. I mean, you buy the dip and you make money, and it hasn't been the case this year. Maybe this one little stretch right through here was a nice little opportunity for the dip buyers, but take away that, and there just wasn't not a whole lot here. And so what'll end up happening is, the dip buyers will eventually kind of just throw in the towel. It's hard for me to get extremely bearish. I have been bearish for a while. Not only just, I try not to get too fundamental, but when I see the corner that the Fed is painted in right now, I just can't. And putting the market action on top of that, we've been in a bear tape. We're in a bear tape now. I guess theoretically we're in a bear market. I don't know how you qualify that these days, but I don't care. I just know when I see bearish tape, I don't need a definition for it. I just know there's a lot of sellers. There's more sellers right now in the market than there are buyers. Take away, this big move we had yesterday from the Fed, and I'm not even sure what they jawboned about. Probably what they said about not having to raise, 75 basis points, but I'm not sure. So where do we go from here? What do you do? Well, we're back below all of our key moving averages. And 420 has been a level. Now, we did close above it yesterday, and probably a lot of people thought, oh boy, here we go. And just today was ugly gap down, and just right from the get-go, we sold. So I think you have to basically use that 420 again. It's a pivot level, regardless of the action we've seen over the last couple of days. You still have to use this 420 as a pivot level. So I think if you're in the bull camp, you want to get back above that. That would put you back above the 10-period moving average, which is right around in here. So, and then you still got to deal with these moving averages above. So very sloppy action today. Pretty much this whole year, and we'll see what happens. We'll take a look at the Qs real quick, and I don't think you're going to see much of a difference in the Qs. And no, it's even uglier. And the IWM, probably the same picture there, and it is. So really, we're below all our moving averages today. The trend has been down all year, so you can try to make some bullish points, I guess, but for me, it's an ugly tape. And once again, I go back to the to the Fed. Are they going to? Is he going to do what he needs to do, like Paul Volcker did, back in the early 80s, or where you just keep on raising rates until you get control of inflation? Or are you going to, once the market starts showing weakness, are you going to kind of fold and go back to your usual quantitative easing? So I wouldn't want to be in his position. He's a second term. He's on a second term, so maybe he won't care and just continue raising rates. Honestly, I hate to say it, that's what should happen, and we should see a 30 or 40% correction. And I think that would probably, everybody would hate it, but it's probably what needs to be done. But that's only my opinion. Our opinion as traders is to follow the footprints in the sand, and right now the footprints in the sand are kind of heading lower. They're climbing down. You follow the footprints, they're going down the mountain right now. That could change, could hit a valley and go back up, but for right now it's down. Mr. Jamie, I know I talked a lot. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, no, what you were talking about earlier, I just ran across an interesting, I'm pretty sure this is accurate. There have been 2 days in the past 25 years where the S&P 500 futures were down 3% and the 10-year Treasury futures were down 1%. And that was October 9th, 2008, and like you were
Whoa.
pointing out, March 18th, 2020.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So seeing those
Interesting.
bonds negative,
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
usually the inverse correlation like we were talking about earlier, but everything's just going
Yep.
down.
Oh yeah. I mean, it
You know,
is. Everything. There's selling a Bitcoin, bonds,
crypto,
gold and silver.
bonds.
There's no safe haven. The only safe haven right now, and the last thing people think they probably should be in, is cash. And uh, cash. I remember texting my brother today because I've been trying to get him to get in cash for several months now, because he's like one of those ones. He says, man, every time I get out, the market just goes back up. But I said, well, this time might be different. And so, but anyway, I'm pretty much in all cash. I mean, the only thing I have right now is this KD today. I noticed this one after earnings. I bought this morning at 12:06. It had earnings. It's a beaten up IPO, and I just noticed some relative strength and it had a good day. And I did buy the down about a point in it, maybe a little less, maybe 90 cents. I did buy this CTVA today because they did have good earnings. I bought them around 59. Of course, it fell with the rest of the market, but held up okay. It's still intact there, just above its 10-period moving average. Could be one to watch tomorrow. It's in the right sector and still a strong chart, above its 50, unlike you can say about most of the stocks in the S&P. But Jamie, that's about it. Unless you have something else you might want to add.
Nope, that's it. Gonna be an interesting day tomorrow
Yes.
for
Yeah, it could
sure.
be. It's a Friday too. Yeah. All
Okay,
right. You want
so
to
there's not.
take it
I tell
over?
you what, I'll grab the screen from you and I'll just show everybody Holly's performance.
Okay. Yeah,
But
you
not
don't need
really
to
a
do
whole
it
lot to
much.
talk about.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you should have eyes on my desktop.
I do.
And, conservative mode, it was barely positive. And considering 100 shares per trade here, not even up a half a point when it's all said and done. And of course, moderate, taking a little loser there, and aggressive if you just bought everything and did the one short and held everything, down not quite 3 points. But, with the market conditions that we had today, I don't think anybody's surprised about that performance, but conservative was definitely the way to go today. And it basically all came from this one trade here,
Mm-hmm.
which was, you guessed it, a short right up here on the MXL, and got a nice little bleed down in it. with the rest of the market. But notice conservative won the battle today. Even with the market being weak, if you would have held it and gone, well, everything's going down, well,
Yeah, look at that.
you wouldn't have made near as much, and that's the market for you. Um, but other than that, the three different things that I typically like to showcase with Holly, is there any conservative versus moderate spread as we see here? No, doesn't exist today. There were no good add-ons. And in addition to no add-ons, there were no decent trade arounds where, typically the AI gets stopped out and that area acts as a pivot and you get another up move or a down move if it's a short. But as we can see right here, once that stop was hit in this one, it just kind of floundered around there for the remainder of the day. So, once again, not that surprising to see that conservative mode scraped out a little bit, but all the other modes were down a few points or so. So would have liked to have seen more shorts on here, but I guess those strategies just didn't fire. Things didn't match up. And I know probably everybody else is wondering, well, why wasn't any more shorts?
Right.
Don't
Well,
know.
here,
Those
well,
trades just didn't trigger today.
I can probably tell you a good reason why is a lot of our strategies are built on like certain patterns, and when you have a
Right.
big move like you had yesterday, when a lot of stocks ran up, those patterns just were not developing, for a short, so that's just, when you get into a crazy, wacky environment like this, like I said, it messes a lot of strategies up for sure.
And you're right, because all this area back here, hey, AI was always good for something.
Yeah.
Even this last little run up here. But boy, when you start getting into these, reversal days,
Hmm.
not only is it hard for us humans, but it's also hard for the trading systems and the AIs that are out there too, because they don't have enough time to assimilate enough data to, try and predict.
That's right.
So
Exactly right.
that's about it for Holly. So let me kick it back to you.
All right. And looking at your screen, another thing just kind of brought to my attention. If you go back and look at the spies, over uh, basically over the last uh, 12 years, you're not going to find too many time frames, like a 4-month time frame where basically the spies trended down like this. All of your moves have been basically been bought up pretty quick, and they, basically your little V bottoms, and kind of like you see right here. This one lasted maybe a little over a month, but you're going to see a lot of the drawdowns. They're just quick drawdowns. They may be 5% here and there, 3%, but they were all quick. Now what you're seeing is a little bit different of a story. Okay, this has gone on for 4 months now, basically since the first of the year, and it's been just a kind of gnarly 4-month downtrend. Okay, this could be major distribution. A lot of the I hate to, I'll never use it, smart money, but just a lot of maybe insiders selling. We don't know. We always find that out later. But anyway, so this is a little bit different. This is kind of a grinding out kind of type bear market, even though you can have some volatile days in it. Well, let's move on, because I do want to talk more about the eye. Okay, and I'm going to switch up what I had planned a little bit. I'm going to go over our trades. Not our, well, I did trade them. I traded pretty much all of them, but this is a spreadsheet that we use, and it's mostly me, but the guys do come in and throw in some chart stocks every now and then. And the ones you see highlighted in yellow, that's going to be the trades that we the Holly, I don't want to say traded or alerted you, not really alert. It's just basically an idea being presented in a top list. Okay, here's the one from today. This is the CTVA came out today. And when I get to my slide presentation, I will go more in depth on how these, what, there's no recommendations for them. We can't make recommendations to buy, sell, or anything. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's take a look at the calls. Okay, on Monday, which was 5/2, there were 2 calls made. It was pins. And let me just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. Pins was called right here. Okay, and basically a nice 3 days of push. I don't know what the percentage gain there was. I'd have to say it's probably around 15 or 20. I'm surprised I don't have more markers here on the side. Let me go here. Hold on just one second and give you a better idea. So 5.2. So it was called right here at 21.36, and it did get as high as like 24. So you can compute what the percentage was there. But anyway, a nice call. The other one was Hood. And even though Hood has been holding on, it's actually still holding on. You know, it didn't give much back. I actually sold mine today, pretty much right where it closed, maybe even a little lower. So, but that one's one I'll mark up, and if they have to turn around and buy again, because it's holding up pretty well. That one was called, I remember around on this day, 5.2, around 10, I believe 10.37, 10.38. So got as high as 10.87. So a little bit of percentage there. DK was a monster move for 2.5 days. Called right here on this earnings date. Okay, and I think it was called probably around 25, 21, but anyway, a nice couple of days there, all the way up to, 29 and some change today. So a great one there, and then really that's still pretty much intact. That's a oil refiner. Has been doing very well. Netflix, it gave you a little bit yesterday, but not so much. I actually I sold half of mine yesterday because I was in about 190. I got out of the rest today. That one, theoretically, it could still be intact because I'm using this range. I just basically pretty much got out of almost everything today just because of the frustrating action. I can always buy it back. But it's been in this channel for a while now, one to watch. But that was one where I probably, that's the only one I called like that where it's really a bottom fishing. But anyway, now these two right here I thought were beautiful calls. Unfortunately, we had the action from today. AMD, I ended up making a little bit money on it, but this was called yesterday and actually Holly called it after I did, right around 93, and boy, it had some really nice push all the way up to 99. And then, of course, the gap down today with this market, but still a very good call. Unfortunately, guys, we're dealt the market that we have. This is a trade. Being in the right market could have been a monster trade, but hey, these are going to be, most of them are going to be really good calls, guys, but you have to trade the market first. I tell people that all the time. But if somebody is more of an investor / maybe long-term swing trader, I can see where they could, theoretically it's still above the call area, close at 94.26. And Dow was another great call, but once again, the action that we had today, that was called pretty early in the morning. Had a really nice move yesterday and then reversed it all back to a flat, but still, I'll never kick myself for making trades like that. You cannot control the market, and you just have to, trade accordingly and use your stops. And this one was called today, CTVA. This was an earnings play. Thought it had a lot of potential this morning. Held up okay, still above its fast line. Still, this is maybe one to watch. Maybe I'm already in it, but if I'd love to see it get back above yesterday's high. So I'll put me a little alert in there. Maybe if I want to add, if it gets back above there. It's in the right sector, I think. Agriculture and pesticide. All right, Jamie, and stop me if you need any questions, because I'm not looking at them.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
We had a question about, is the I window in the trader's I room?
Yes, it's in the, if you go to new and pull up docked channel bar, you're going to see the trader's eye. Now, I built this channel, but really there's not a reason to kind of watch the channel. What I would do if I were you is just take out the eye, just go like this and save it to your cloud. And then that way you can just pull this up, just click save. This will put it in your cloud, and that way you can just grab it and put it in the in your default layout, so you can see it when they pop up on there. We're talking. I was talking to Brad, and we're trying to figure out a way where you guys can get more alerted. I would love to alert you guys. The thing about a top list, there's no audio alerts that come with those. So we do have one in a new new high in the eye, that will alert you. This has an audio alert on it. So if you want to pop out this one as well and maybe put it in your taskbar at the bottom, you will be alerted when anything in the eye hits a high. A lot of rhyming going on. All right. So let me pull up this other, if I can find it here. Yeah. So it's kind of want to go over this presentation so you guys will get a better grasp. All right, because this is just we're kind of starting this month. We're kind of going to kind of keep tabs on the. That's why I was highlighting those trades in yellow at the end of each week. I'm going to go and drop these in a spreadsheet. So we're going to, keep the performance on these things. But I can tell you this: we've been doing this for about 6 weeks now, and there have been some incredible, trade. I don't want to call them trades, but alerts dropped in there. So keep an eye on it, guys. Especially if you're a trader if you're not a day trader, you just maybe new to trading or you're new to the software and you're like, guys, this is too dangerous, this day trading. I don't want to do it. I want to slow things down. This can be a great, tool for you to pop out and just, you're basically getting ideas of what long-term traders do, and I'm taking a lot of these trades. I'll be the first to tell you. So it's just, I didn't have anything like this nor did Jamie when we started, where you can basically see what experienced long-term traders are actually doing. All right, so this is a slideshow. Let me back out and just go to the start that I presented in the dev meeting the other day. Development, because they wanted me to come in there. They want to get more idea for their coders and things like that, what a trader looks at during the day. So I'm putting together a welcome screen, and I'm kind of just brush over that. You guys can read it anyway. But this is what the eye is. It's just traders here at Trade Ideas, okay, with tons of experience that are proposing a swing trading idea. Now, I like to call them position trading ideas, because a position trade denotes more of you're taking a position in a trade and using risk reward parameters, to manage, your risk and your profits. And this is a market you really have to do it in. Okay. I mean, I can tell you right now, when I get in these trades and as soon as I get some, I'm quickly taking half off in this market, because I know it can turn on a dime. So by taking half off quickly, I assure myself that it's going to be a profitable trade. And in a normal bull market, you might not have to do that. But when you get in action like this, you really want to do that. So these are just ideas that we believe have the potential of being higher over the next couple of days, or next coming days, I should say. These are not recommendations to buy. They do not come with entries. We're not like saying buy here. They do not come with targets and stop. And the reason that is risk management is subjective to a person's trade size, his tolerance for risk, time frame. I may be looking to get into a trade for 2 or 3 days. You may be looking to get into a trade for 2 or 3 months. Okay, so maybe your stop is 5% stop, and I want to use a 2 or 3% because I'm looking for that quick move, and I'm going to make 10% on the upside, but I'm not going to give it more than 3% on the downside. You may be looking, hey, I'm looking for 20% on the upside, so I can give it 5%, maybe 7% on the downside. So that's why I'm saying these are very subjective to a person who's doing the trading. All right, the I concept, and I'll go over this real quick. As a matter of fact, I've told you most of this. I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the next slide, because it's the same concept, just kind of showing you more what happens with a visual. So we enter these ideas just like I showed you in that spreadsheet. And what I'll do about 30 minutes before the bell, I'll scrape these, I'll copy these and paste these into a symbol list, my personal symbol list. And then I'll drop them into what I call the eye watcher. And this is a top list that I just kind of use to track what the stocks are doing. And then I decide if I'm going to enter them into the eye. Okay, the eye that means I'm going to the back office, our back office, and going into what we call a global symbol list. A global symbol list, that means that anybody that has a software has access to the symbol list. So once I enter those into the eye, then you immediately, it takes maybe max 30 seconds, and you'll get that idea. Now remember, these are swing trades, so you don't have to get right at the breakout or whatever. Don't feel bad if you feel like it's late or something like that, because these are ideas not meant to be traded for a few minutes. All right, so why is it important, to have a feature like this? Was my presentation to the dev department, is because uh, there's so many variables that go into trading. Okay, a trade is really complex, and that you just don't jump into a trade and it doesn't work just in a vacuum where all you're doing is watching that trade. No, there's other things you have to watch. Today's a great example. You may have had some great trades yesterday in AMD, like I did, and a few others. The market gaps down and immediately starts just heading straight down. All right, so are you still just going to look at that trade and just say, well, my stop's down here no matter what happens? I don't think that's the best strategy. I think it's best if you play the market first. So in other words, if you're in a trade and it gaps down, and first of all, I'm immediately selling half if I got some nice profits, because this is not what I thought it was going to do. I thought there was going to be some continuation move. So that's the point I highlight right here. What is the overall market doing? Okay, when do I enter a trade, and when, if, or do I at all? There's a lot of things that this morning that I was looking at that looked really good, but there came the if. Or, if I enter a trade, well, no, the market gap down. I've only made, one call today in there because of the action we saw in the market. What is its peers doing? Okay, that's a key sector, is huge, and I'm going to spend the rest of the webinar talking about it. What's the underlying commodity doing? The gold and silver. Okay, I notice SSSR, which has been a very strong silver miner lately. Okay, it was called from Holly today. Why didn't it work? Well, if you just take a look at silver and gold, they were selling off, like I said, with the rest of the market. So it's something you got to keep in mind. All right, good trade checklist. Okay, and don't get me wrong, all of these do not have to, a trade doesn't have to fulfill every one of these on the checklist. But it's important that you want one or two of these to be sound. In other words, is it technically sound? Is it above a key moving average? Okay, is it in an uptrend? And now when I say is it in an uptrend, it doesn't have to be in an uptrend for like a year or even 6 months, but maybe over the last couple of 2 or 3 weeks, it's in an uptrend, and maybe above at least one moving averages. You just need a technical reason, to be getting into a trade. Is it a good entry, or is it a good setup? Does the market confirm? Does the sector confirm? All good ideas. I didn't want to do that. All right, that's my eye homework. I've already showed you guys all that. If anybody did not, if you're new in here and you did not get this, just hit us up in the questions panel. Say, I want Andy's eye homework, and I'll drop it into the chat window. But I've already went through all these a couple of times, I believe. Good trade. Good trades, odd favors. Okay, sector strength. Once again, huge. Stocks in uptrend, stocks with relative strength to its peers, and bullish setups. A lot of this stuff is just common sense, and a lot of it is just common knowledge in the industry. All right, so sector strength. On that day that I showed you, that I called out pins and hood, that was one of my best days in a while. And the reason it was because I think I bought about 5 stocks in the ARKK. Now, not in any of them anymore, but I did make some good profits on some of them. Actually, I made profits on all of them, but I made some better profits on some. But this is an hour and a half after the market opened, okay? And I'm always watching my sector analysis window, and I see ARKK. As a matter of fact, I just added this not too long ago to my sector watch list. And just very strong, in the market compared to all the other ones. This one was, people were doing some value searching, some bottom fishing in some of these things. So when I noticed that, my focus went to all the stocks in the ARKK. Okay, this is Kathy Wood's innovative ETF. You know, you're going to find things like Tesla, Coinbase, Roku, Pinterest, all these, you know, innovative stocks are going to be in there. Hood's going to be in there. So on this day, I dropped these two in the pin only because I was focused on these. I said, well, you know, a couple of these are above their basing and they're above their 10-period moving average. So I called Hood right here. I dropped it in the eye. And then Pinterest was a beautiful call right here. Before it went to highs, I dropped Pinterest in there. And that's the one that had about 3 days of great move. Got about a probably 15% run out of that thing. So, but once again, what was it? It was sector strength. Now remember, guys, before we had all these fancy software. This is the only thing I was able to, you know, Jamie too, to trade with was, you know, these kind of sector strength type windows. All right, let me get it off here. Holly. Now I put the wrong symbol in here. This is supposed to be MPC. Okay, so I was explaining to them because I'm trying to get them to basically get more sector strength logic built into the AI. And I'm hoping we're going to be working on that. I think so because we started some tickets here that I'm involved with, and I'm hoping we're going to, like I said, get a lot of sector strength logic. Because on this day, what happened? The best performing stock was MPC. What is MPC? Well, it's an oil refinery. Oil refineries have been very hot. They were hot this day, and they were hot the day 2 days after there. That was that DK symbol that I gave you. That was an oil refinery. Versus for solar on this day, the tan sector was not so hot. That was a loser. All right. So remind me to show MPC to you after this call because it had great follow through. And the reason is only because of sector strength. I cannot discount. All right, I mean, hold on. All right, so this is just my that's all this my summarization for the guys in the dev department. So anyway, guys, I think getting back to it, I'm going to go ahead and drop this in here, and I'm going to also drop the symbol list in here. This is a sector analysis, okay? And what it's going to do each day, okay, I have this, I like mine changed from the close, but I also have changed from the open so I can kind of see them both in there because I do like to see which ones are gapping up and things like that. UNG, we know, has just been a monster lately. And that you're going to see that on top of the, well, you have a lot lately. And of course, a lot of the natural gas stocks have been doing very well. So this is what I like to look at. All right, these are my key sectors that I like to look at. You could take it and do what you want to with it. What I would recommend, guys, if you can, is if you want to really learn this, is maybe build some symbol list out of this. Go into let's say XLE. Okay, what you can do is just go into a XLE ETF holdings. There you go. You go into there, and even if you only grab the top 10, you know, you can find them. I think Market Watch is one of my favorite. I don't even see it on there. Just go in here and you can see the top 10 holdings of these companies. All right, and it's going to give you their well, total net. Gosh, does Exxon account for 22% of that, and Chevron? That's a big thing. But anyway, what you can do is just grab the top 10. You know, you can probably figure out how to do it manually, so you don't have to type each one of them in. And build you some symbol lists, you know, and just call them, you know, and then that way what you can do is maybe on days you see XLE being real strong, okay, you could have your little window that you could point to this symbol list and just do a top list, and you can see the strength and you can find opportunity. Or you can run races, even better. You could run races with these. So I'm going to share with you this symbol list. First, I'll share this window for those of you who don't have it. And if you don't, honestly, guys, if you want to be serious about trading, you really need to know kind of what's going on in the market. Okay, where's the money flow? That's all it is showing you where the money's flowing on any given day, in the market. And you want to be, if you're trading stuff to the long side, you want to be where the money's flowing. So let me go to sector analysis, and I'll share this window. I'll drop it into the chat window in your GoToWebinar interface. Let's see, sector analysis. And there you go. And then what I'll do next is drop the symbol list in there for you. And sector ETFs, that's it. Edit. And then I'll just take this and drop them in there for you. There you go. So you can just copy those that I dropped in there. All you have to do is come into your tools and go to symbol list and do create new list, name it sector ETFs, and then just go, create new list, sector, and click OK. And then you can just go into it and just open it up, edit list, and then you could just paste those symbols in there is all you have to do. All right, so let me delete this one I just made. All right, because guys, I'm telling you, I know we have lots of tools that can find you, where the action is, but when things get really kind of sloppy and you're not seeing the momentum to the upside on a lot of these stocks that you normally trade for momentum, and you're thinking, oh gosh, it's kind of changed since the bull market I've known for all these years. The momentum to the upside, a lot of these momentum stocks are just not lasting. Well, try to focus on going to the sector that's strong. Going to the sector that's strong, know those stocks, or have you a symbol list. And not only that, guys, we have a feature called Similar. So let's say you're, if you only know one stock, I don't know if I'd put the, well, let's say GDX. Let's say gold gets strong tomorrow. You can go into similar to GDX, and you're gonna find a lot. Nah, I wouldn't put the ones that just kind of control the overall market. I would know one like OIHs. I know Halliburton's in there. So type Halliburton, know one. Once you know one, type it. It's going to give you all the other ones that are related to that. So that will help you out. But honestly, I would start to learn. Okay, I would start to learn that if MOO got strong, that I know I want to go look at, see what SCF is doing. I know I want to go see what Mosaic's doing. I know what I want to go see is Corteva's doing, CTVA. So you'll just kind of know these symbols. Even if you start out at first, you only know maybe 3 or 5. Trust me, you'll get to know more, because the more you know off the top of your head, the faster you're going to be to maybe track down the opportunity. But the symbol list will help you, definitely help you at first. All right, Jamie, I see you doing a lot of work over there. Is there any questions that I need to answer?
Nope, I think we're good to go.
Oh, good job. Good job. Well, guys, if you guys don't have, I don't even want to look at stocks today, because really it's kind of a sloppy mess right now. But do be careful out there. And if you are playing things alongside and you got a little profits, remember to take some off quick, because it may not last long. Especially looking at the action today. All right, guys. Well, I'm talked out, so I am going to bring in Scott and let him walk us through the rest of the webinar here. And you guys hang on. He will have a. That's not the one I wanted. Let me X out of that. All right, Scotty, we're ready now.
Yeah, just a couple items on the way out. So if you're an interactive brokerage client, you can trade directly from Trade Ideas and manage your portfolio. Using our Brokerage Plus module, you can automate your trading if you're a premium client. So go ahead to trade-ideas.com/IBKR to learn a little bit more about becoming an interactive brokerage client. And if you're an E-Trade customer, you can trade automatically using Brokerage Plus through E-Trade with $0 commission, or just manage your account and do manage your trading yourself directly from Trade Ideas once you connect your E-Trade account to our platform. There's a great ebook called My Favorite Strategy Indicators, written by our Director of Software Development. It's available at trade-ideas.com/strategy. It's got some great concepts for you to explore. And something coming up very soon is our next test drive. It starts on May 16th. And you can go to trade-ideas.com/test drive to learn all about it and sign up. It costs $11.11 for 2 full weeks of the premium Trade Ideas experience. So if you're a standard subscriber, you can try out the premium features with no commitment. And if you're not a subscriber at all, you can also do the same. Try out all the premium features. 2 full weeks. We have some special training going on during that week. So don't miss out. We do that about 4 times a year. So if you miss out on this one, you'll have to wait a few months. We had a code. If you decide you want to become a subscriber right now, just use the code Spring is Here. It's good for now and good for the next couple of weeks. Saves 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas, your first installment, or your first installment of an upgrade from standard to premium. Find us on YouTube. We're Trade Ideas on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter at Trade Ideas, QuantBot, TI Steve G. Also, we are on Facebook at Trade Ideas Pro. And any questions at all, email info@trade-ideas.com. It goes to our help desk and get you the help you need as quickly as possible. And the recording of this session will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, so stay tuned for an email tomorrow from GoToWebinar with a link to the playlist where you can find it. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Jamie. You all have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Scott. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.